It's a first-timer. He's our only first-timer this evening. So please, a big, warm 10-by-9 welcome for Don Gregory.
The following experiment contains details that some people may find upsetting. It involves famous people, ablutions, and some partial nudity. You have been warned. Experiment date, Tuesday, May 5th, 2009. Experiment title, Give Foy a Lift Home. Equipment used: guitars, amps, CDs, miscellaneous leads, one 2009 Reg Transit, Connect van, diesel, grade unspecified. Method: load all equipment into van, sit in front, fasten seatbelt, start engine, depress clutch, select gear, check mirror, give signal, check mirror one last time, release clutch, release handbrake, and begin. The gig was in Brighton, and home for Foy then was London. I didn't normally get to transport the talent, as I was a tour truck driver. But that night I would drop Foy at home and drive his wee van with all his gear in it through the night up to the boat in Scotland and back to Belfast for him to play a last-minute birthday gig for a mutual pal the next night. Conversation came around to another Irish artist, one a bit older and a bit more famous or infamous. Some might call him the man. I began to say something that alluded to the man's legendary grumpiness, and Foy took exception to this and interrupted me. Listen, I like him. He's a wee man from East Belfast in his 60s, and the world wants to know what he has for breakfast. I cut him a bit of slack, and I couldn't argue with that. And a bit further down the road, I decided to offer a tale from my time with the man. Well, my favourite story about him is from when we were in Glasgow. Now, as well as his legendary grumpiness, the man is known, or at least was then, for the brevity of his concerts. Posters and tickets for the event would proudly boast of an evening with the man, when in actual fact the man was contracted to do a mere 90 minutes, and that was indeed all you were getting. Many times I witnessed some poor couple, dolled up to the nines, babysitter at home, rolling up to the venue after a nice meal, expecting to spend the rest of the evening in the presence of their idol, only to find there was just 45 minutes left, and to add insult to injury, they wouldn't be allowed in until there was a gap in the songs, lest they spoil anyone's enjoyment. And so attached to these 90 minutes was the man that he had a huge A4 size, big red digital clock, stage left, and it would count down from 90. And when it got to 0, the man was gone. Seriously, the band sometimes hadn't even finished the song, and the man would have left the county. And so it was in Glasgow that August night in 2007 that I sat in my truck, and as the show had started at 8, at 9:30 I expected the first knowing punters to emerge before a few more, and finally the rest of the auditorium, when they finally accepted that yes, that really was the end, and no, he really wasn't coming back on. This night, however, 9:30 came and went, as did 9:35. 20 to 10 slipped by, and it wasn't until 9:45 that doors opened and the audience started to leave. And one of the stage doors opened, and the drum tech nipped out for a quick smoke before the D-rig. What happened, Andy? I shouted. Did hell freeze over? Did he decide to do an encore? Which, in fairness, on some very rare occasions, the man was known to do. Andy said no. Halfway through the show, the man had walked off stage and said to Pete, now Pete was the right-hand man of the man, had a constant supply of honey and lemon drinks and whatever else was required to get him through his grueling 90 minutes of work. Andy informed me that the man walked off stage and offered to Pete the immortal words, I'm away for a shite. So having answered the call of nature, he decided to play on for a bit. And the beautiful poetry of the occasion was that the band had to make Brown Eyed Girl last 10 minutes. Foy said, I thought you were going to tell me the one about the couple that won the chance to meet him backstage. I hadn't heard that one, Foy. He says, yeah. Apparently a couple won the chance to meet him backstage. And the manager, knowing what he was like for fucking off, brought the couple backstage to watch the last few songs. So there they were, stood in the dark, dark wings, watching their hero on the bright, bright stage, watching the hat, the dark glasses, the harmonica, the steel guitar, the old metal mic, drinking it all in. And apparently, a song finished, and the man walked off the bright, bright stage into the dark, dark wings, dropped his trousers, his underpants, grabbed a towel, and proceeded to vigorously dry off his nether regions before discarding the towel, pulling up his underpants, his trousers, and going back on stage for another song. Sometime later, the poor couple met the man, smiled sweetly, shook that hand, and pretended to him and themselves that they had not really just witnessed the previous act of genital husbandry. Foy brought me into his place when we got there, brewed me a splendid coffee for my onward travels, and said he'd see me in Belfast tomorrow night. I drove on, a good long drive through the night with tunes or podcasts, just how I liked it. But like that poor couple, and now you, haunted by the image of vigorously toweling nether regions. In conclusion, it's not always advisable to meet your heroes, except Foy. He's not a bad lad.